I'm Douglas Dominguez. I'm a technical consultant and senior worldwide evangelist for the Quick Developer software. Today, in this quick tips session, I want to take you through a very fast and very easy way to bring up Internet Explorer browser inside Quick Developer, and that in this browser we will have a specific URL. So it's very simple, 5 or 6 easy steps, and we're going to do it together here so you can learn how we can do that. So come with me and let's do this in our Quick Developer tool. Okay, so what we want to do here is we're going to open the Quick Developer application. I'm going to use version 2008, and if you don't have 2008, if you're working with 2006 or 2007, I highly recommend you to upgrade to this version, and you can do so by going to eservices.sabre.com. Now, one word of advice here is that when I want to create a new functionality, I usually create an application from scratch because it takes less time to compile. If I'm going to use an existing application, usually it's large and it takes me quite a while to compile. And since I'm going to do testing here, I probably will be compiling several times. I want to create an application from scratch. So let's do that. I'm going to create a new application, and remember, we're going to try to create a link to a web page. Open a web page and link it to some specific URL. So I'm going to create the application just link, and here we have a new application. So I'm going to go ahead here and create a new script, and just for consistency I'm going to name it link as well. And here I have a blank script. I'm going to begin it just adding the function of this script so I won't forget. Just a note for myself, and I recommend you do the same. So this will open the browser and will go to specific URL, and then I also add here usually my initials are my name and the date or month, so in case I want to find this afterwards, it makes it easier. So first of all, what I need here, before opening this web page, I need to tell Quick where my Internet Explorer, in my case, or if it's Firefox, whatever browser you may be using, I need to tell it where this browser is, where the program is located. So I do that with a verb, which is get external value, and then this will be in our configuration editor. I'll show you this afterwards, and I had created there as my browser location. So I'll have here browser.location, and I'm going to throw this value into a variable, which will be URL. And then, since I'm using a variable here, I need to create it. So what I want to do here is I'm going to build this as a local variable. So build local data item, and there we go, URL. And then I'm going to continue on building on top of this URL, and I'm going to add the location, the actual URL. So remember, the get external value tells Quick where the browser is, the path, and now I'm going to concat it with the actual, so I'm going to put this value plus the location, which is, in our case here, the test will be with Google, so I'll just put google.com, and that creates the whole path. And now I'm going to launch this, so I'm going to use the launch verb, launch, and then I'm going to launch this URL, which is composed of my browser location plus the URL. And in this case, I have here a mandatory field in this verb, and then I'm going to check if this launch was okay or not. So launch success or not. And this is another variable, so I also need to create it here as a local variable. So I put it here, launch success, and there we go. So if you're wondering why I use the local variables and not global ones, basically for two reasons. First is that it's better management of the memory of the application and the machine. And second is that by using local variables, I make that the application is smaller, that it weighs less. So it makes it easier to compile the application and to share it and the like. So here we have the variable, so I'm getting the variable building the variables here using getting the external value. We'll see that in configuration editor in a while. Building it to the site I'm going to and launching it. Now I'm going to save this. We need to launch this from somewhere. Qwik doesn't trigger it if I don't tell it to. So I'm going to create a pop-up. I could do it several ways. I could do it through a menu, I can do it through a keypad, I could do it through a combination of keys, but I'm going to do it here through a pop-up. So pop-up, I'm going to use the same name. Inside this pop-up, I'm going to rapidly here create a button, and I'm going to attach this button to our script. So I go to this button here, I go to its properties, on select, I'm going to call this script. And then I'm going to add some text to the button so it looks nicer. So here, open, or better said, launch Google. So we're done with our pop-up. And then I also need to tell Qwik to display this pop-up, or else the pop-up won't show once I run the application. So I'm going to do that through another script. I'm going to build a new script. I'm going to put start script. And in the script, the only thing it's going to do is it's going to call that pop-up. I'm going to call it pop-up there. We created link. And now we have all this and it links together. We have this script calling the pop-up, which in turn, if I press the button, will launch this script. But then I need to tell Qwik to run this script, and I'll do that very fastly here. I go to default items, and I will add that script to our startup script session right here. So once I launch the application, Qwik will run this script, which in turn gives us the pop-up with the button. So I put it here. I'm going to go ahead and compile. And there we are ready to run. Now, before we run, we have to check our configuration editor to see if this new application is configured there. So let's go very fast here to configuration editor. And we want to go here to Qwik application manager. And I don't have the new application here, so I'm just going to create it. So it's link. And then here just put file and link.app. With that, I just make it our default application, current application. I change it to link. And we're ready to run it. Before we run it, just very quickly, let me show you here on the user side. If we go to browser location, remember we called this from within the script. It tells the Qwik application that my browser is in this section. So make sure that your browser is indicated here, so Qwik will take this information and add it to the variable URL we created within the script. So ready. Okay, so we're done with this. We save it and we close configuration editor. We return to Qwik developer. I'm going to run it with debugger. So once it opens, it should bring up the pop-up, and there it is. And we know that if I press this button, it's going to run the script. I'm going to do it, and it should launch the web page here with the Google URL. So there we go. Very easy. And of course, we have other ways to do this, but we'll talk about that in another Qwik tips session. Okay, that was very simple, wasn't it? Next time we'll talk about other ways to create links from Qwik Developer to a web page. Thank you so much for watching this Qwik Tips session, and looking forward to see you again in the future in another Qwik session with me. Thank you.